Welcome to the latest edition of the New Haven Independent Vlog News Summary, direct from our newsroom, otherwise known as my Compost Heap. Let's see what stories we're working on this week. Here. Hey, would you feel comfortable driving on this bridge? In Connecticut, I think you're supposed to. You know, after the collapse of the bridge in Minneapolis, that tragedy, our state transportation chief, Ralph Carpenter, said, "I'm confident it won't happen here." Some of us do remember something called the Mianus River Bridge, but let's hope he won't be embarrassed he ever said that. What else are we working on? Oh, good thing we got a tape measure in here. You know, the city's inspecting all the apartments here, and we've been renting out our compost newsroom to a certain raccoon in the neighborhood. It's very hungry. You know, about a year ago, the city started inspecting all apartments and multifamily units in the city that aren't publicly owned. And at the time, there was an outcry. People said, "This is terrible, you can't do that, you're stepping on landlords." That happens any time a government tries to help people who aren't in power. But here's what happened a year later. 10,000 units were checked, more than expected. Those apartments are now safer. There's not a hue and cry. The program works well. So these apartments are now better apartments in the city. And what I especially like about this program, this is an unusual policy, because previously this city, like all of the cities, knew of only one way to make apartments better, and that was through gentrification. By having people spend a lot of money to upscale apartments, the city and developers would have better quality apartments, but then people could no longer afford to live in them. Part of the way this policy came about was people in City Hall, who actually aren't there anymore, were trying to figure out what's another way we can improve conditions for people who are lower or middle income renters without having the rents go sky high. And that's how the inspection program came up, and this is something other cities can model. What else we got in here? Oh my gosh, coming out of compost, I'm afraid that this might be dirty money. There's a lot of cantaloupe seeds and other kind of muck in there. But there's a lot of clean money in town coming from the Democracy Fund. This is the first year we're having taxpayer-financed, in part, municipal elections for mayor, the first time this happened in the state, so that people who aren't able to shake down contractors and city employees also have a chance to run. Now, this week, the first check went to Mayor DeStefano, who's running for re-election. He got $25,000 in matching funds, and he deserved it, because he could have just shaken down contractors and city employees for four-figure checks, the way he did in past elections. Instead, he went ahead and embraced publicly financed elections so other people would have a chance. So now he's just shaking them down for three-figure checks. That's progress in this town. What we got to do now is, whether or not you agree with the other people running for mayor, Republican Rick Elser, Green Ralph Ferrucci, Democrat Jim Newton, try to give them all $25 checks, because if they get enough of those checks, 200 of them, they too qualify. So even if you disagree with some of what they say, because every candidate says some things that are meshuggah and some things that need to be said, we're going to help revive democracy in the city. And when it works well this time, stronger candidates will emerge in future elections. So that's all. My recommendation is that from the compost is that everybody write a check to these candidates. What else we got here? Oh, check this out. From the compost heap, we got a rickety old little plastic chair. I have a feeling maybe we'll send this down to the Prince Street School on Gold Street in New Haven, because that's where they're moving the Cross Annex and the Hill House Armory. Those are the schools for kids at the two big high schools who are either flunking out or causing a lot of problems with discipline, their behavior. So they get sent to these other schools, which is a challenge for the system. Don't underestimate what the system deals with. But the Cross Annex got moved from Nash Street in East Rock neighborhood because neighbors were upset about what they said were crimes affiliated with those students. So now the kids from both those alternative schools are being sent to the Hill. And here's what Youth Rights Media found. They're an organization that sends kids out with video cameras. They went to the Cross Annex, where it's been all these years, and they found nice new chairs and desks being brought in. Then they went to the building where the school is going to be in the Hill, in an area that's not even a neighborhood anymore, thanks to urban renewal. And they found all the old junky furniture there. There's a message there for all the hard issues involved. Until next time, this is the New Haven Independent Vlog News Summary, and remember, always pick up your trash.